pull up what we're working on today. Kevin, what's up? How are you? Ant, what's up? I'm actually going to zoom this out so you guys can see everything here. What's up, guys? How we doing this morning? I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. I apologize. Yeah, it's been an early day. Had to go hit the gym, and then we're gonna go jump on this beast of a picture. I am missing. Oh. I really appreciate that you've been waiting for me. That's a good thing. That makes things more, anticipatory for myself. I like that. Let me gotta pull up my whatnot here so I can see things on both sides. Well, I mean, you know what? You didn't miss a ton. I can get you updated. Let me give me a second. Let me pull up what we've been working on, because you definitely need to get updated. You and anybody else that's watching. All right. So in the last couple of casts, I did 4 pieces. Let me see if I can get them all on here. Yep, here we go. All right. So this was the first. This was one of them. So we did Omega Red. Then we did a nice what is that? Weapon X. So the Omega Red one, though, I don't think I had the grayscale in it because I did that after the fact, so I put that in there. Same thing with this one. The Deadpool I never showed because I did that one offline. And then we knocked out this piece. So that was the first one. And today, I'll show you the mock-up that we're doing for this one, but I got a request for a Predator versus Xenomorph, but the Xenomorph has to be like a Carnage version, and then the Predator has to be a Venom version. Yeah, I mean this thing is already turning out to be a banger. I'm not dissatisfied with it at all. As I start throwing in more ink, it's gonna get that much better. So I'm very. Oh, what did you come up with? I can't wait to see what you got. What you got up for me? Yeah, I just this one was definitely one for the books. But anybody that gets a commission moving forward, I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting in everything I got into every piece that I'm doing moving forward. Like I'm not holding nothing back. I mean, that's how I usually do it, but I'm really putting my foot on the gas with every piece that I'm doing now. To be vengeance. Oh, that's gonna be badass. Well, give me an idea of like the size that you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, by default, you're getting color anyway, so yeah, we're gonna rip this thing apart and just go crazy. And I like drawing a Ghost Rider. So just think about like you have the Wolverine, but it's a skull inside of the mask instead. Oh, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy. I'm just curious to see what's going to come up. Oh, yeah, definitely. I got you. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem there. I got to make something kind of crazy looking. Got to figure out this hand thing first. Yeah, I promise I will not disappoint you. Yeah, I mean, I like a good challenge. I mean, that's the best part about doing what I do. If I get easy stuff, it moves fast, and that's a blessing in and of itself. But I like a good challenge because it get again, like you're saying, it gets the creative juices going, makes things a little more fun. I don't know if you were on the stream when a couple weeks ago, um, but we had somebody suggested it might have been you actually that suggested we do a Wolverine Gundam. I'm so looking forward to that one. Man, I gotta admit that's gonna be a blessing to go and meet the two of them. I would love to see them. I've been to many cons where both of them are there, but I've never had a chance to run into them because usually their lines are extremely long, so that doesn't ever work out. Chris, to be honest with you, Chris Claremont is he was. I hate to say it, it was kind of underwhelming meeting Chris Claremont. Nice guy, but just kind of underwhelming. And no, I did not make it up to MegaCon this year. It just was not something that I could really make happen because I am literally leaving in less than a week to get out of town. So I had to make a choice. Do I spend money for MegaCon or do I spend money for my trip? And my trip is more important. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, MegaCon this year, from what I saw, MegaCon was amazing. I feel bad that I missed it, but it is. I mean, sometimes you can't always go to everything. I mean, it. I got to be honest with you. This was probably the best like look of a MegaCon that I've seen in a bit. Lots of great artists there. Oops. Yeah. And then John Cena did something so epic. He really is like a man's man. Like he's just like a true like real time superhero. And it's pretty cool to see him like give that big old hug to that man that's suffering from cancer. Yeah, I want to go to Heroes Con though. I've kind of gotten to the point now. If I'm going to be going to a con, I want to be actually in the con, like as far as like drawing. I'm not really a big thing on me being a fan. I'd prefer to be doing work. And going to a con gets kind of expensive really fast. Yeah, I would love to go there. I have family up there, so it would work out well. trying to figure out what I did here. Oh, you know what? I don't have the one that has all the blood in it. That's why. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out all my details on this guy. Yeah, my thing is that if I can't justify the expenses, because for me to go to a con, like even outside of my area, the average I'll spend is about, 1,500 bucks for the weekend, and I have to make double that at a con. I'm rarely ever getting to those numbers, and that's frustrating. I would love to get those numbers up, but it's hard. It really is hard. I'm trying to figure out this other arm, and I just can't. That's this arm. Grab a picture of the predator. The predator. I got to get a picture of his arm. There we go. That's what I needed a picture of. Yeah, I mean the goal is, honestly, my goal now is I want to take this to a different. I want to finish up my card series, which is um it's slow right now because I've been fortunate enough to get a lot of good commissions from people, so I'm not complaining there at all. But ultimately, the goal for the cards was just to kind of get my creative juices going again because it's been so long since I've drawn. So I'm going to finish that task first before I move on to my book next year. But next year is all about doing my book, and then 2028, if not late 2027, is when I will release that book. My whole deal with that is that I want to have a completely done first book. It's the first of five, and have that done in its entirety because I want it to be a chunky novel, a graphic novel. And I'm not talking about like 24 pages. I need it to be at least around like 48 to 50 something pages worth of, good quality artwork. And then in addition to that, I'm working on getting myself into a gallery too, so that way I can, have more exposure in different kind of art fields as well. So I'm a busy dude. Oh, in addition to teaching stuff, that there's that part too. Okay. All right. So now I can start putting in the things. What's going on, Joss? Yeah, I have a series that I'm writing right now. I've got the chance to finish up the entire art for the first book, and then I will be working on the second one through this year and hopefully wrap that up so that way I can move on to the thumbnails and everything this year. But it's a series of different heroes in the story. But I've been working on things like um, color techniques. I've been trying to figure out like the best processes for me to use to make this book work, but I also need to make sure that the story is fun enough that it's you can revisit it over and over again. That's the hardest part. You got to make something memorable that people really want to reread, and if it's good, then people will want to. But the thing that I found that works for a lot of people is that um, if you don't create a story where it moves over time, like you literally have to give the anticipation factor for people, then they are going to lose desire to read your work or even look at your work. So think about like manga, right? They release manga over a series of time. Even though it's a lot of artwork at one time, it just takes a while for it to come to fruition. But once it does, you're like, oh man, I need to read the next one. But you got to wait a little bit before the next one comes out, right? So that's the kind of story I want to do, and I'm thinking I if I can do it like once a year, and I'll just do social media or crowdfunding. That way, I can get things moving a little bit better. That sounds fun. See, that sounds like a good concept. I like that. Yeah, I mean that. I think if you, depending on how you push that one, it could get like really really good. There's so much work that you could do in that one. Yeah, there. I mean, just the hard part is just coming up with a good story and making it interesting. For time to come, right? That's the hardest part. You got to keep it interesting for a while. I mean, I have been over this last year, actually more like 2 years. I've been really doing a like a character study on like Invincible because I couldn't understand like what is it about Invincible that kind of makes people really like the character and the story and all that stuff. And it's almost like it's a hero's journey. That's literally what it is, and that's why it works so well. It's almost like watching Luke Skywalker, right? But you're seeing his entire journey happen. And if you're able to make a story like that, it is finite, which is good. Um, but you get to see the growth of the character. And the cool part about like a story like that is you get to see Mark as an adolescent, Mark as an adult, and then him dealing with stuff as an older man and all the family drama that goes along with it. So there's a lot of components that come with it. So it's like watching Superman go through a real family journey and all the drama that goes along with it. That's I think that's one of the reasons why, like, when we look at Dragon Ball Z, for example, Dragon Ball Z is one of those things where it's it's wanting to do that, but it's just not there. It's just all about coming up with cool characters. And I think that yeah, you can have great cool characters, but you have to have depth to those characters. I think Goku was like on the path of that, and then they kind of were like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna make him power up for a long period of time, and it's all about the fights, and that's not what it really needs to be about. And maybe my opinion on it is different. Maybe Toriyama was not trying to do that. I don't know, but that's what I gathered from that. Yeah, I want good stories. Um, me, I've been really looking into just like storytelling as a whole. Because as far as comics go, I don't really read a lot of comics anymore. I'm a very visual person, so I have to. It visually has to capture me. If it doesn't, then it's pretty much not going to be on my list of stuff. I don't like this hyper realistic stuff. It's not for me. Um, and that style went for a while, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Now they're coming up with like design. They're going back to the basics. So if you take a look at like Absolute Batman, for example, Absolute Batman is all about good designs and great storytelling. They just figured it out. It's all. It's not hard. It's really not hard at all. Because eventually, great character designs, can go but so far, but you have to have a good story to go with it. Very, very important. Oh man, I lost a lot of people. That's weird. Huh. No worries. I'm still going to work. I got to do this for a little bit longer. I have about a half an hour I can go. But Ant, if you're still up on there, I'm definitely going to start thinking about that that Wolverine one. And I think I have one more cover of Wolverine. I'm going to double check today. I'm going to go cover shopping again. Oh, okay, cool. Perfect. What's up, Silver? Yeah, I'm going to take a look and see what I have. I think I have one more Old Man Logan that I can use. If not, I'm going to go get you a new comic, so you'll have that fresh. Just in case, if I don't have one, is there a preference that you would like to do, or do you want to do something like this? I mean, I think single character on a cover would probably be the best bet. This would be more for like if you have more than one character. Yeah, I had Joseph and I were talking about this particular piece because he was looking to do. I think he was looking to do like a smaller one, and then he thought about it. He was like, if I do it on card, it's not going to be. You're not going to have a lot of landscape to play with, which I agreed because he'd already gotten a couple of cards from me, so I was really happy about those two. But look, when you're used to drawing like these kind of characters, you can't draw them on a small scale. You're going to lose a lot of the quality of them if you draw them too small. And luckily, Joseph was in agreement, and he and I were able to come up with something that worked out really, really well. So I sent this off to him because I literally sat in my car and I was like, let me go and do this, do this, do this, do this, and knock this kind of design out pretty fast. Oh, I could do that. I could make that happen. I can do that much for you. Good request. Yeah, my wife says like my mashups are probably one of my her favorite things that she sees me do, and I will agree. My mashups I am very happy with. I've never been disappointed with those. Okay. I'm very much looking forward to that piece. And since I got some time tonight, I think I'm just going to start brainstorming some ideas. Oh, I appreciate all that. I honestly, I appreciate that. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's all about. I'm not gonna lie. It's literally about you, and I want you to have something that you can look at and be like, "Damn, I love that piece." I want it to stand out. Honestly, I'm not trying to be like egotistical or anything like that, but I want it to be a piece that you can literally look at and be like, "Wow, I'm so glad I got that." At this point in my life, I'm not creating bad art. I really want to create good stuff. So I tell people like when they give me a good challenge, something I've never drawn before, like what you suggested. Like I can't tell you how many um, Ghost Riders I've done and how many Wolverines I've had the opportunity to draw. But when you get to mix them up and you got to figure out how to make that work, that's cool stuff. Okay, I think I gotta go and get my ruler real fast. I will be right back. Oh, I could do those. I love those. Give me one sec. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I did not know that. Yeah, I think doing that would be really cool. I would have to do like, yeah, I don't want it to be like a whole bunch of heads. I think it would have to be um versions of him in different poses. Hmm. I don't remember my password. That's not good. Try this one more time. That's not cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Really, really cool. So sorry, guys. I'm running into an issue where my tablet is not wanting to work right. Okay, well, I locked up my tablet. That's great. We love when that stuff happens. It's very frustrating. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could always learn the drawing skill. I always tell people, I mean, you can always learn how to draw. Anybody can draw. Some of us just have to work harder at it because it's not a natural talent. Yeah, my old writer Charlie, he's the art idea guy. Like his brain works on a whole nother level. Like I'm, it's almost frustrating that he's able to just like pop up ideas so fast. But he's the reverse when it comes to me. It'll be like, I hate that you can draw because I just want to get my ideas out of my brain. But if it's not a natural talent, you just have to work to learn how to do that kind of stuff. And that's the hardest part. Is like you got to put in the time to do that. I think I'm just gonna have his arm just stop right there. I don't think I'm gonna do all that. Have his arm break the panel just a little bit. Yeah, and that's a gift that you're able to do that. I can't do that unless I like really work at it. So for example, like me writing this story is hard because I have to kind of switch my brain into a different mode to figure out, okay, I need to understand the characters, their motivations, all that kind of good stuff. Whereas somebody like yourself, that's just natural for you. And that's okay because you know what you can do is that you can learn how to like do shorthand. You can draw like little small bits and then give those ideas to the artist. And that's the cool part about having a team of people to work on something. That's people don't realize when you look at Stan Lee, right? Stan Lee was the idea guy. Even though he was more of the face, he was the person that had that, gravitas to him when he would go out there. He was really the showstopper. He was the one that presented the product. Um, he was still an idea guy. Jack Kirby and artists like Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and stuff like that, those guys are the visionaries. Like they're the visual side of that design. And having all of those people in a team is important. Dividing up stuff is much better because you can work more efficiently if you have things divided up. It's a fact. Productivity works better when you do that because now you have multiple people sharing the responsibility versus just one. And that's hard for people to deal with, but when you realize, oh man, yeah, you are making my life a little bit easier by taking on these tasks, then you'll be like, oh, that's a breath of fresh air. 100%. you know I understand, from a productivity standpoint, why a lot of these comic companies and independent designers do their stuff, you know, by themselves. It's hard to split the pie. So if you're an independent and you have a good idea and you have, say, three people and you guys make $1,000, well, now you're only getting a third of that pie if that's the way that you've divided it up. And that's a tough one. Some people don't want to split that up. And then you have other independents that are just doing everything on their own, and that's just a lot. So something has to be sacrificed. So like for myself, for example, my sacrifice is time. So if I had multiple people working with me, I could get something done faster. I could have somebody doing colors, I could have somebody doing letters, all that kind of good stuff, which will increase my productivity. Um, but again, those people would have to get paid. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But this particular project that I'm doing, the book that I'm writing is a passion project. So with that being said, um, I do have other people that are going to be reading the drafts before they go to final production because they have to move well. I've been fortunate enough that there's a creative writer professor that's going to be running through my stuff, and he's going to pick my stuff apart, which is good. I want him to because I want general audiences to understand it and enjoy it as much as the people that are in the comic book community. Something came through. I just don't know what. Yeah, there's so much to this whole process, and I mean, I'm figuring it all out. I understand, comic book production and story production and all that stuff. But again, going back to your point, um, you can learn how to draw. I would just tell you, learn it over time, still work on your craft, and just employ other people to do the other stuff until you feel like your skills are up to par. And you don't have to be a great artist to be able to storytell. I mean, take a look at the early works of. I'll go back to like even the early works of Todd McFarlane. I mean, he had great stories, but he was still trying to learn how to do the anatomy and all that stuff. That's cool. See, I like that. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna have to check him out. I think I've heard of him. I feel like I have. Yeah, I think when I do my comic, I'm definitely gonna be streaming it on here. That's for sure. Because I think people need to understand how the process works. Because I firmly believe people get confused on it. It's a trial, and that one I'm gonna show my digital process too, and give like recommendations as far as like digital products that you can use, and teaching people how to work, you know, within their budget. That's the biggest part. Everybody wants all the tools and everything like that, but I'm like, dude, if you can't afford that stuff, don't do that. Like for years, I'd wanted a Cintiq, which is a drawing tablet with a screen, and I wanted that thing so bad, but I had an option. I was like, I could do payments on it and spend 3 grand for this screen, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $3,000 for a monitor, and I mean for a drawing display, just so I can have a screen. And I ended up getting one years later. My wife bought one for me. It was like a 13-inch, but the thing was, there's just so many damn cables, and I was just getting frustrated with it. It was only 13 inches, so it was kind of small, and I wanted a big screen. How you doing, M Dog? What's going on, Mill? Um, and I wanted the bigger screen, and I wasn't like not grateful for her doing that. She really did do good by me. It just did not work the way I hoped it would work, so I had to send that back. Um, it just functionality wise, this wasn't that good. Um, but then I was gifted a Cintiq probably my last year of college, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't even use this thing anymore. You want it?" I'm like, yeah." And I thought the person was joking with me, but they're like, "Yep, I'll go and give it to you. It's all yours." I mean, it doesn't have the best resolution. I mean, it's one of the older Cintiqs, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's 2 grand I don't have to spend. And it was one of the best things I had ever gotten from one of my, I should say it, one of the people I know. I'll just leave it at that. I can't say who I got it from, but I was extremely grateful to get it from that person. Definitely pushed me into a new stratosphere. Yeah, that is. You know what? That's a. I mean, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. That's what I always believe. I don't believe in luck. So I firmly believe that everything happens the way it's supposed to. And that one definitely was like a heart's desire kind of thing, and it was fulfilled because I never would have saw that one happening. That person had no reason to give that to me, other than the fact it was just taking up space. They're like, "Can you please just take this?" And we walked to my car, put it in my car, and I was like, "Hell yes!" And I have that thing over in my other office now. I haven't cranked it up because I haven't used it for anything yet, but it's going to get some use this year for damn sure. Yeah, I'm definitely putting that thing to work this year. I might wear it out. Yeah, because once I'm done with these pieces, like the Conan one and all the other pieces I've done this year, I'm going to turn those into coloring books, and then I'm going to turn a couple of them into prints. I was thinking about doing them on my Cintiq, or not my Cintiq, but my iPad. But the iPad's not as, for me, it just doesn't have all the fun stuff that I need. Yeah, I mean, honestly, having a bigger drawing tablet is the better way to go anyway. It doesn't matter which tablet that you have. I mean, I think Huon makes a really good one. Huon actually, cost wise, it's way more effective price wise, and I would definitely suggest their stuff. They make a damn good tablet. So if you are ever looking to do that, that's the one to use. And anybody that is trying to teach you how to get into this stuff, it's the reason why they're using those tablets is because it effectively is like you working on a regular piece of paper. That whole thing of pinching and pulling stuff doesn't work. It's good for on the go, but it's not good for standardized drawing. You can't pinch and pull. You have to go in and out with your head to look at things. So that's the more effective route to go. Well, you'll get there. Yeah, I mean that's and honestly, what I tell people that like my journey was I started off with the $50 tablet and I worked my way up from that. I had a $50 tablet, then one of my friends let me use um her Intuos 3 for like the longest. I wore that bitch out and I broke that thing. Like literally I used it so much that the pin stopped working because the cord was just done. So I wore that thing out, but it was good. It did the job for a very long time. And then I got another $50 one, and wore that bitch out too. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like digital, but I prefer um, traditional. See, digital does not give you this real world feel. It just does not. It's a whole different ball game. Like when you look at this, you can see all the little like pencil bits and all that stuff. That you don't get when you go digital. It's like too clean. There's if you take a look at uh like old school comics. I'm talking back before, I would say like late 90s, like mid to late 90s, before they really went to digital. And you see those old dot matrix style of printing. There's something to be said about that. I mean, the textures that you got in there, you got to see more of the artwork than you did to see of the colors. The the color amplified the artwork. Whereas right now, it's more the color is more seen in comics nowadays. That's cool. I'm definitely gonna have to check them out for sure. Yeah, I prefer traditional. I don't mind using digital to do my setups and everything like that, but I like to if it's a speed thing, then that's different. But if it's a I need to give you something dope, hand drawn, you're gonna get this. And I feel like I do a better job when it's hand drawn because I that's how I learned. So for me, that just works a lot better. All right, I got the bones. Did I miss anything? No, I got all of that. That's good. All right, I think that looks good. Just got to figure out on the head part. Oh man, I should have done those spots in reverse. That's okay. I'm gonna leave those there, and then I'll make his arm black. Yeah, I should have done those spots in reverse. Hell, I might just do that. Yeah, I think I might just do that because I think that'll look better. Yeah, well, I like to go back and I like to touch. Like there's when you have something tangible, that's the cool part. That's why people, collect things. So I tell people to do things traditionally because you learn better when you're actually doing the work. So, for example, yourself, because you're a DIY person, when you do something, you tend not to forget how to do it because you put in the work versus, if you go get a kit or something like that, um, you're less inclined to remember that kind of stuff because it's already pre-done for you, right? But if you make it, your muscle memory's there, the struggles that you had to get there are there, and that's why putting in the work is important. What's going on, Kay? Good morning. That's why I like to see people's process because being able to see the process lets me know, okay, well, all right, now I got to try this, I got to try this, I got to try this, and all these kind of other things. I'm going to come back over there with white pen and I will fix those scales on him. But that looks a lot better now. We're getting there. We are getting there. What time is it now? Okay, we're looking at 9. I'm gonna go until like 9:10. So I gotta get going. I got class to teach at 11. Well, I was thinking about it today because I want to get a new tattoo, and I think the tattoo I'm gonna get It's going to say use it or lose it, or use it before you lose it. That's a motto that sat with me for well over 20 years. I had a who I consider like to be a second father. Um, this gentleman named Paul Schrader, really amazing guy, creative, fun. Anyway, I went through a period of time where I stopped drawing, and all I did was I did crafts. So at one point, when he saw me, I was doing a lot of cross stitching because I always had to have my hands doing stuff. And he saw me one day doing this cross stitch, and I would sit up there and I would work on it for hours. And he looks at me, he goes like, "Are you not drawing anymore? What's going on?" He goes, "You need to use your skills, or you're going to definitely lose them." And that was so prophetic because I'd always drawn. That was my thing. Like I never would stop doing that. So I would say if that's something that you enjoy, something you want to learn again, you just need to put the time in to do it. It's almost like going to the gym. You don't get better at going to the gym until you actually start putting time in to go to the gym. It sucks the first few times that you go there, but once you start seeing progress, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this because I keep on seeing good things happen. Okay. I think I'm going to do that a little differently. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good example. I've wanted to learn an instrument all my life, but I've not put the time in to really learn how to do it. And that's not an easy skill to do. You need two things. You need will and desire and follow. Sorry, three things: will, desire, and follow through. You do those, and you're good. Yeah, I think those. YouTube is a beautiful resource to use. Like, I've learned so much. Like even my drawing style has been affected by people I know that are, I wouldn't even say YouTube sensations. They're just people I've been following for so long that I picked up a lot from them. And a lot of the processes that I implement, I try to tell people about, and they're from other people that I've learned stuff from. All right. Yeah, there's so many talented people out there. And I like going on to channels like this. Like I literally go to bed now listening to other people's streams, and I get more out of these streams than I do out of the YouTube streams I used to watch. And there's this new guy that I follow. He does hot rods, and I think it's like called Funky Hot Rods on TikTok. See if he can ever get on here, but he does a really cool stream. God, I wish he would put his stuff up on here. But his stream is so good. He's so fast, and for me, because I grew up in the '80s, and we used to have Hot Rod magazine, and that had like a little cartoon series in it, and I loved that. And this guy draws just like that. with the funky perspectives and all that kind of good stuff. He's really, really dope. I think I'm going to wrap up this Predator here in just a second, then I'm going to have to get on the road. Yeah. Well, I tell everybody it's this community is cool because it's literally like going to Artist Alley, but better. Because you can actually talk to the people. I mean, I've met, you know, famous people on here because I mean they'll come up on here. Like Todd McFarlane pops up on here from time to time. I've seen Ryan Otley on here. I've seen, who else did I see up here? Well, of course we get Rob Liefeld comes up on here all the time. But there's a whole bunch of different artists that, you know, pop in and out of here. Known and unknown. But nobody tries to, you know, be turds, I should say, for lack of a better word. Nobody's trying to do that. Yeah, Rob Liefeld is a lot. Like he is so much energy, it's insane. I just wish his stuff wasn't so expensive, and I also wish that I could see him draw as well. Like he'll do his signature illustration, but I want to see him actually draw. Like I want to see his process. Alrighty. Get a couple more bits in here, and then I gotta get up on the road. And then I will probably be back on Thursday. Yeah, I should be back up on Thursday. So I should be here on Thursday, and I will be here on Friday because I got to wrap these two up. Well, I have this one, and then I have one more. The other one, I'm going to draw on here, but it's got some naughty bits on it, so I have to be very careful on where I place certain things. So I'm going to try to get that up on here. Probably do that on Friday. Yeah, I am all about the process because that's how I learn techniques. And if you have people that have been in the industry before and they're up on here and they're showing you how they did it, you can integrate some of those things into your designs. Take a look at this person. WOO. Yeah, I like seeing people be able to do that. I can't tell you how many videos I watch with just people, you know, doing things like that. Let me see if this other person that you sent me. Sorry, I'm trying to find the other profile that you sent me earlier. Okay, so Scott Reed. Okay, definitely want to check him out. Oh, perfect. He's in my area. Perfect. Perfect. I will definitely be checking that person out for sure. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm gonna look him up and I'll have to bookmark some of his shows. Give him a shout out and let him know, hey, you recommended me to check out his stream. Alrighty. I think this is where I'm going to have to call it because if I don't, I'm just going to keep on noodling at this and I'm not going to go anywhere. All right. Well, Ant, you have yourself a good one. I'm going to start coming up with some ideas for your piece, but definitely I'm down to do that 100%. You have a good one, and I should be on at 8:30 on Thursday. So if you are on here, please, I'd love to see you up here. We'll have another convo. To everyone else, I'll see you later. Take care. Oh, Ant, do me a favor real quick. Monday, I'm not going to be on. Actually, I'm going to be, Friday will be my last stream, but you can still go ahead and do your purchase on Monday. That's fine. And I'll just work on it while I'm away because I won't have any of my streaming equipment when I'm in Texas. And then what I'll do just real quick is that I'll make sure that I add it to my list. So I will see you later. You guys have a good one.